There were a significant number of deaths throughout the Squid Game franchise. Some of these deaths were incredibly emotional and left fans heartbroken, while others didn't really leave much of an impact or effect on viewers. And then, there were those deaths that were so unbelievably dumb that they left fans scratching their heads, wondering, what did I just watch? These moments were confusing, ridiculous, and in some cases, downright funny. It's your boy Vincent, and in today's video, we are diving deep into the dumbest deaths in Squid Game history. Make sure you watch until the very end, because trust me, you won't want to miss any of these. And don't forget to leave a like and comment down below which death you think was the dumbest of them all. Let's get into it. First up, during the fourth game, we have the Shaman leading her loyal followers through the maze. She promised them that she would find the exit, giving them false hope to keep their faith in her leadership alive. But it became pretty clear early on that the Shaman had absolutely no idea where she was going. Despite this, her followers blindly trailed behind her, trusting that she could lead them to safety. Eventually, the Shaman stumbles upon a door. She opens it, steps inside for the briefest moment, and then, in one of the funniest and dumbest sequences of the season, she immediately exits and bolts away without saying a word. Namgyu and Myungi suddenly jump out from that very same door and ruthlessly eliminate them, taking out player 006 and player 447 in the process. The way the Shaman nonchalantly walks out and runs off as if nothing happened is pure comedy. Unfortunately for her followers, their blind trust led them astray, and they paid the ultimate price for it with their lives. Next, in Squid Game Season 2, we were introduced to player 196, a character that quickly caught Thanos' eye as a love interest. Thanos went out of his way to impress her, even rapping in hopes of winning her attention. At this point, the players still didn't fully grasp how serious and unforgiving the games were going to be, despite repeated warnings from Gi-hun. Then came the infamous red light, green light game. During this tense moment, a bee, yes, a bee, flies in and lands on player 196. Thanos, ever the gentleman, warns her about the bee, which completely freaks her out. Tragically, this causes her to flinch way too much during the red light phase, which was an absolute no-go. The result? She gets headshotted with a no-scope precision strike and becomes the very first elimination of the entire game. It's almost laughable how such an insignificant detail, a bee, sealed her fate. Many fans were devastated, as they had hoped Kang-mina would have a much bigger role in Squid Game. Sadly, her time was cut short by what is easily one of the dumbest deaths in the series. Moving on to Season 3, one of the most highly anticipated storylines revolved around Dae-ho. Fans were deeply invested in his journey, eager to see how his arc would play out. However, after failing to retrieve magazines for the rebellion participants, Gi-hun began projecting his guilt onto Dae-ho. From that point onward, Gi-hun had his eyes firmly set on Dae-ho, determined to eliminate him no matter what. What makes Dae-ho's death so dumb is that it ultimately achieved nothing. Even if Dae-ho had succeeded in bringing back those magazines, it would have changed absolutely nothing. The rebellion was doomed from the start. Junbae wouldn't have been the only one eliminated. Hyunju and Dae-ho would still have ended up dead before Season 3 even began. Gi-hun knew deep down that his comrades' deaths were his own fault, but instead of facing that truth, he lashed out and killed Dae-ho. In the end, his guilt didn't go away because the guilt wasn't in Dae-ho. It was within Gi-hun himself. A fan-favorite character lost his life for no reason at all, and with barely any character development, which makes his death one of the most frustrating and pointless in the franchise. Then we have Gyongu, who was introduced in Season 2 as Thanos' ultimate fanboy. This guy was obsessed with Thanos, even going so far as to rap one of Thanos' verses right in front of him in an attempt to impress him. Unfortunately for Gyongu, Thanos wasn't impressed. Still, Gyongu managed to attach himself to Thanos' group throughout the games, sticking close to him and Namgyu. But during the Mingle game, Thanos got way too caught up in the moment. Faced with a tough decision on who to include in his group, Minsu or Gyongu, Thanos chose Minsu and unceremoniously booted Gyongu. Thanos later showed signs of regret, but by then it was too late. Gyongu's death wasn't as flashy as others, but the sheer stupidity of the situation How a minor decision spiraled into his elimination cements it as one of the dumber deaths in Squid Game history. Namgyu's downfall, on the other hand, was rooted in addiction and desperation. By season 3, Namgyu had developed a severe dependence on Thanos' drugs. When Minsu got hold of the drug necklace, Namgyu's withdrawals spiraled out of control. Once a strong and dominant player, Namgyu became a shell of his former self, even going so far as to beg for the game to end before jump rope. Minsu, sensing the perfect opportunity for revenge, devised a cunning plan. He tossed the drug necklace onto the middle of the jump rope platform, knowing Namgyu couldn't resist. Desperate for relief, Namgyu lunged for the necklace and managed to grab it, only to discover it was completely empty. Minsu had outsmarted him and turned the tables, finally avenging Sami after all the bullying he endured in Season 2. Namgyu's death wasn't just tragic, it was humiliating, and it all happened because he underestimated someone he once considered weak. Player 096's death is another case of sheer greed leading to disaster. He successfully completed jump rope and reached the final platform alongside Gi-hun. Instead of waiting for everyone to finish, player 096 hatched a plan to eliminate as many competitors as possible, thinking it would improve his chances of survival. At first, the plan worked. He managed to push 2 players to their deaths, but when he set his sights on Gi-hun, things went downhill fast. The two scuffled on the edge of the platform, and in the heat of the moment, player 096 got his eye gouged before being flipped back onto the jump rope. Within seconds, he realized his fate was sealed. Had he just played it safe, he could have been a finalist. Instead, his greed made his death one of the dumbest in the entire game. Finally, there's player 349. Watching player 96's antics, she panicked and made the worst decision imaginable. Instead of continuing toward the safe platform, she jumped back to the starting platform, thinking she would be safe there. Big mistake. Player 203 seized the opportunity and delivered a Spartan kick that sent her plummeting to her death. The question on everyone's mind was, why turn back? She had to know that the only way to survive was to reach the end platform. This poor decision sealed her fate and earned her a spot on this list of dumbest deaths. The Squid Game franchise has given us a mix of heart-wrenching tragedies and bone-chilling betrayals. But these deaths? These were on a completely different level of absurdity. What do you think was the dumbest death of them all? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the most ridiculous deaths in Squid Game, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay safe out there.